Ron, Gimbert, right, I'm in third class. All right, they gave us, I think, 3 days to get to, I think, Seattle after we graduated the Swiftboat School. And they said, well, you can't go home, you got to go up to Seattle. And, you know, everyone's saying, what are they going to do to me? Send me to Vietnam? So, I mean, I flew east and went home for a day and a half. Oh, it was great. You know, it was great. And then it wasn't so great because you knew where you were going and stuff. So, and then just flew back out to Seattle. Then from there we went to Anchorage, and then from Anchorage we went over to, I think, Guam first, and then Guam over to Vietnam. And I believe the 7 of us were all on the plane together. But then once we got to Vietnam, we just all split up, went to different areas, and my first assignment was in Cam Ranh Bay, and that was supposedly the R&R center of Vietnam at the time. Well, when you first go over, you do some training with the crews that are there, and they take you out and show you the ropes and everything. So, and then just pay attention to those guys, because they're the ones with the experience. And then after a while, you get the boat yourself, and then you go out, and after three months, a couple months or so, you know, you get to feel that you know what you're doing to protect yourself. You know, you're not necessarily here to kill people, but if you have to, you have to. But just be aware of your surroundings and just protect yourself and protect your crew members. Well, our officer in charge was from Texas, William Mall, and he was kind of a strict guy. And in fact, when we were up at Viet, we made a sign and hung it on the fantail of the boat, Captain Bligh. So, but after he saw it, then he loosened up and everything, and he thought it was kind of funny too. So, and the second in command was, his name was Wheeler. He was a signalman. He was a second class, and he was a lifer, Navy lifer. So, and he was in for a long time at that period. And then the second class bosun mate was Lane. His last name was Lane, and he was also a lifer. So they had the experience of the Navy, which helped us out. And the gunner's mate was a second class also, and he was a lifer. But he was just married before we left for Vietnam and stuff. And he had some difficulty with that after he was over there. That's the best way to put it. And Billy Williams was the engine, and he was the second. I think the bosun mate was a third class maybe, but Billy was the second class too, I think. And he was a California boy, so he lived like up around Long Beach or something, right up the road from where we did our training. So, and then it was me, and it was kind of quiet there and everything. And I remember the first time that we actually got shot at, because you could hear when the bullets hit the aluminum, it was like a pinging sound. And I remember I was on the fantail by the .50 caliber, and they started shooting. The first thing is I ducked, and they ducked behind the ammo locker that we had. And that's where all the mortar shells and the .50 caliber and stuff were stored. And I said, "Whoa, this is kind of strange. You're ducking, you're getting shot at, and you're ducking behind something that can blow up." And so that was kind of now a funny experience. Then it wasn't too funny, but. And we were in Cam Bay for a couple months. And then they sent us up to Viet, the DMZ, and we were up there for a couple months. And I was actually there the day that the 76 boat got flipped over going out the Viet River. And I think I was in the barracks or getting ready to go out on patrol on our boat also. But then they put a hold on it until they could see if the boats ahead of us would go out. But then I was on the shoreline and the boat went over, and the guys got rescued, hung on to the boat, or treaded water for as best they could or something until they were rescued. The sea was too rough. And the only other experience I remember up at Viet, we were patrolling out of Da Nang, and the Viet Cong hit the ammo piles on top of the LST landing and started a huge fire explosion. The fuel bladders went up and everything. And they recruited guys from ships to come in and help fight the fire. And I volunteered to go, and from my boat, you can only send one, you can't send everybody. And I was in there for a while. In fact, I got a piece of shrapnel at home still from being like a half a mile away from this. But I had to lead a firefighting team. They put us on one of these duck boats, and it had a pump on it, and they gave us an 1.5-inch fire hose, a couple 100 feet I think we had, and there were 6 of us. And they dropped us off at the bottom, and we went up this landing, and when we just got to the top, a large explosion happened and everything. And 3 of the guys got hit and wounded with shrapnel, and the shrapnel cut the hose, and so me and the other 2 guys helped the other guys down and got them back onto the boat, and we all got on eventually and got out of there because you weren't going to put the fire out or the explosions that were happening constantly. So, and I think it went on for a couple of days, if I remember right. It's scary, I guess, but it was, you just did it because you had to do it, that type of thing. It was expected of you, so second nature, I guess. You just had to, get to the boat and get out of there. Or if you didn't have a boat to move out, then to find a bunker where you could. They hit us a couple times and stuff, and they became a little more accurate because the Marines put up this large tower, observation tower, I guess is the best way for it, and so, and then they became a little more accurate with that.